ones who are concerned and you want to give your feedback, but then there's the majority, I would assume, that don't come to these things and do the minimal training. Everyone I've talked to in every location says, but I do 5 times the amount of training that anybody else does. And I encourage my people to do that. But that's kind of a bias because you're the ones that are here at this session and the other percentage. So I would assume that you are the most accountable population. And what about the others? I mean, do you want to protect your industry without too much regulation, but how do you protect your industry?
That's the fine line.
And
Yeah.
getting back to what Tom just said, I think that the brokers and supervising brokers and agents that are doing a bad job are the ones that are getting sued. And so there is a checks and balances there because, they're, it'd be interesting to know how many agents do get sued and how many BRR used to give a report out that would say, this is our activity here in this office, these are the things that we're having trouble with, and I haven't seen that for a while.
I always love legal updates.
Updates those are always good too. Those too. So
Okay.
the industry does have a means of checks and balance.
Well, it does, however, once again, I don't think, I have to be careful here. I don't have a lot of respect for attorneys, okay? Plaintiffs' attorneys think we know everything. Although they know we don't. They know even our responsibility is not to know everything. But they like to pretend we know everything. So you can do everything 100% correctly. And it doesn't keep you from getting sued.
Yeah.
So,
But you should win.
Yeah.
You don't win.
Yeah.
do you know how much it costs to win?
Yeah. No, I
Exactly.
haven't had to, knock on wood.
Exactly.
It costs, and Zane will tell you, it
Yeah.
costs $70,000 just to get to court.
My goodness.
So Zane does talk about these things. Did you want to?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, one of the presently very onerous things that we're all dealing with is words to use or not use in our advertising, including in the MLS, agent comments
Yeah.
that are pre-screened before the public ever reads them. And here's the list of
That's how
things we can't
ridiculous
say.
it is.
Let me give you a couple of examples, see what you think.
I need to use this in
This
my
is
class.
probably the most burdensome thing I see right now, because everything is a financial penalty to us. One of the prohibited words is American. Another is snowbird. Can't use that.
Other is jogger.
You can't use
Yeah.
Executive.
You can't describe flooring as Italian tile, Mexican tile, or ornamental rug. Oriental rug, excuse me. Can't say that. Can't use the word social security, SSI. You can't say children's playground.
Can't say children at all.
Yeah. So one of my agents had put in the remarks, children's playground, before it ever went out to the public.
Yeah.
And she got a call and said, we're gonna fine you $50. And she says, why? Well, you can't use the word children because that offends those who either can't have children or don't want to have children.
Or the adults.
So you can't say children's playground.
So ridiculous.
So the PC words that we have here are more onerous than anything we've seen. I mean, we have the litigation law side of contract law. That's normal. We're all up for that. We know how to handle that best we can. But this is a new dynamic that's just coming down right now, this summer. And everything that we do incorrectly is a finable event. And $50 is the low fine. So this is the thing I have most problem with right now. I don't know how you guys feel.
And that was put on Flex, but before it went to Flex.
You just pulled that off the internet a couple days ago?
Yeah, it
I
just
saw the
came out.
memo, yeah.
It came from the Montana Regional Announcement.
Okay. So is there any training on this? Like, what do you
No.
use in lieu of Oriental rug?
This just came out and we
Yeah.
had an
And
email.
an Asian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of
I don't
rug
think
is
you can
that?
say Asian, I would
There's more,
Cannabis
there's of
circulation.
course other terminology in here, but,
So
Oh,
pretty soon, all you can put in there is, call agent to get the details on what this property is really.
It's a house, we
just don't
think.
put
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Has bedrooms.
rectangular, yeah.
I had a
As a road.
ad, I put in, big house for sale, put in there executive retreat. Executive's a bad word to put in there.
you can't use executive at all, or
Been there
exclusive,
for a while.
or exclusive, you can't say
Your
that.
response is interesting, and that, okay, well, should we train agents to find the right word?
Yeah.
Should we take that stand, or should we go the other direction and say, this is BS?
Yes, yeah.
Ridiculous.
I mean, are
Is
we
this
gonna
a
keep
national
getting?
mandate?
Probably.
This come out of the Montana Regional MLS, which is Missoula Kalispell,
Okay.
which
We
most
have
are all.
one
But it came from HUD. It
Our
came-
board has one,
Okay.
yeah. It's from HUD.
It came,
It came from HUD, but it's a revenue maker for that board, we know that.
Right, right.
yeah.
As
Because
far as the
after the
fines are
fact,
concerned.
you are assessed a fine. It's not, you can't say children's playground, it's benign as that feels.
Do you
We're just
remember-
gonna bill you a fine because we're a for-profit venture.
Do you
And that's
remember
what's
when
happening, and it really is wrong in my humble opinion.
But the other thing that you need to, if we're gonna look at it from that perspective, which if that's the only perspective it is, then that is one thing. But if MLSs are subject to a significant censure or fine by the federal government because they don't police those things, then that's a different story.
And that's probably the
So we
root of it.
can say Afghani, or any other country, we can't say American.
That's what
Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm agreeing with you.
So
Okay,
we're just,
So I'm angry.
we're
all
just.
right.
It's getting ridiculous.
Do you
That is
remember-
ridiculous.
do you remember,
Ridiculous.
PC.
All right.
do you remember when they took out pride and ownership in appraisers' work and realtors' work?
Yeah.
You could not put that little emphasis in there. They just said you couldn't use it anymore.
Oh, that was steering.
Pride of ownership?
Pride of ownership. You wrote in your, this house says pride
Well
of
taken
ownership.
In
care
your
of.
advertising,
Yeah,
you aren't
You can't
supposed
use
to.
it in your advertisement, you can't use it in your listings.
But I think for a lot of us, the risk, like say, of listing, marketing, selling, writing buy sells,
Right.
that seems pretty tame and manageable. But the PC words that are
Yeah.
foisted upon us, or we could be in violation and fined for these quite innocently, just is wrong. And it's going to drive people out of the business and they're going to put up with it anymore. They're
Right.
going to retire before 70, maybe
Right.
60.
They
Right,
just won't be drivers.
right.
They'll just be citizens people.
Yeah.
So as far as more pressure on the supervising brokers, which I'm assuming before it goes, it's gotta go before, so somebody writes an MLS, it goes before the supervising broker, before they get a fine, true? Or does the fine go to the supervising broker and the agent who wrote the listing?
Well, the fine be assessed to the company.
The company, okay. So the supervising broker has a lot of responsibility. And if we were to bump up the level of education necessary, would an increase in the level of continuing education on a yearly basis across the board or for maybe newbies, would that be something that you think would help increase the level of professionalism?
I don't want it mandatory, but I want it.
Okay, I know, we heard the same thing, Helen.
And that they tried this, what, 3 or 4, 5 years, I can't remember.
Okay,
You had to take a broker's class, a supervising broker's class. First year was okay, but then the next 4 years were the same.
okay.
They didn't change one thing.
Totally repetitive.
You know.
It-
So we were, as supervising brokers, we were in favor of that
Right,
for the first year. And then after that, everyone was like,
It's the same thing,
Same
Director,
material.
but this last, frankly, the one this year, I don't know if you've taken the one this year yet. The one this year is different.
It was.
is it?
And it
Okay.
was much more interesting and went outside of that narrow scope that was being taught all of the time, same thing over and over again.
I took it, I just didn't get anything out of
Yeah.
it. Maybe it was the instructor hat, I don't know, but, I just, I hear the same thing over and over and over again, it's just like,
Okay.
anyway. that's my
Okay,
two
so
cents.
that, I heard the same thing, that it has been changed, and so that should be more routine. It shouldn't be 4 years before there's actually a change in the curriculum. So it's something new that you guys are learning. So across the board, would anybody feel an increase in necessity for CE from beginning to end? Or some people gonna just sit and take the online courses and, just get through as many CE credits as possible, or?
Most people only take what they have to.
Required.
Okay, okay. Should there be a mandate for attending at least one live, or minimal mandates?
Just
Yeah,
reluctant to look on the authority.
okay.
Once again, I don't think the problem is not enough,
A lot is offered.
not enough courses out there, not enough training available. I think, once again, I go right back to supervising brokers. You can have them go to you can have them go to 24, get 24 credits a year, but unless there's a follow-up, unless there's a means of accountability, so what?
Okay,
And
so,
quite frankly, you're talking to the choir here, because most of these people sit around with their agents, and if they write a buy-sell, they see it before it even goes out. So I mean, we're probably the exception. I mean, a lot of people, if they're not supervised, they're just writing the buy-sell, and then Tom is meeting with his new agent, that he just got a buy-sell from another agent, and looking at this going, this is ridiculous. Right, Tom?
That's right.
Yeah, so.
so as far as filing complaints, or, I mean, if you see something that comes through, so it seems like the mortgage companies are the ones that see the things that come through. You guys will see them occasionally from people that you do business with, but are you reluctant to file a complaint against, or grievance, or do you just deal with them one-on-one? Or you just overlook it?
Once again, I'm on the short term here, so I won't get a chance to talk again. That's why I'm doing all the talking.
Please step up to the mic.
Right over
The
there.
reality of it is that the political correct issue has become so strong that we don't file complaints anymore.
No.
How many grievance meetings have there been in the last year or 2 or 3?
None.
Okay, so that tells you right there. And there are plenty of grievable things out there.
And
So I think they're handled one-on-one more than
Okay.
going to a committee.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had a problem, I would probably either, if I didn't feel comfortable talking with the agent, you'd call their broker. And go, hey, just so you know, and if my agent ever does that, you let me know.
But is it getting resolved? I mean, sometimes yes.
Yeah, the one guy that call me back. Those Missouri brokers.
So these are touchy topics, because what we found in Helena, and I hate to have on Helena, but we had a really big group, and they kept saying, yeah, good, but I get grandfathered in. I don't want it to include me if you want to include the next group coming through. And so, I mean, there was a lot of, this is a problem, but I don't want to see any changes. And so
And I think
that's,
our average age for agents nationally is what, 62 or something? Yeah, I mean, we're not getting any fresh blood in here.
okay. So it's not like you have a bunch of young people. So I was with Mark Simonik yesterday, and he talks about the fact that the criteria for being an agent is 2 years of high school, and then you can take your test. And he said he sat in a VRR, whatever dialogue, where they actually approved someone who didn't have 2 years of high school to be an agent. And they were in their 40s, and they had other practical experience. But is that too low? I mean, should that be something that is higher? I mean, does a high school diploma mean anything? Does a year of college, or,
well, I'm gonna.
Not to me.
I'm gonna regress a little bit, because I want to say something about the complaints and the grievances. Part of the problem in our industry is we gotta go back and work with that person.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, we hold back saying, okay, I may call Bob and say, hey, Bob, this is what happened. We may talk and smooth it out and make sure it doesn't happen again, help train our agents. But a lot of times that doesn't happen because we know we're gonna have to deal with Merle again. And so we don't wanna file a grievance against him because he's not gonna be happy. He's gotta come down here and look at a grievance and do whatever it is they have to do with grievance. So, I mean, that's part of the problem is
Sure.
we're self-policing ourselves.
That's right, but is it getting, are we progressing?
No.
I think part of the issue is not just the newbies in the real estate business, the training, the rookie class, which is fine. It's the fact, and somebody said it earlier, is the fact that you may have somebody licensed 20 years in the business with 1 year experience cumulative. They just don't do much business. They don't know forms, they don't know procedure, they don't know how to keep the transaction together in a positive manner, and it's just all over the board. So that's part of the problems.
And I don't know that you were asking about education, what level of education. There's people that have hardly had any education that are awesome real estate people and you do a great job. So I mean, having a 4-year degree is not gonna make any difference in our business, in my opinion.
Or a high school diploma, now,
Okay.
practical experience they usually have. And they're usually better at it.
Okay.
Because they had to survive that way.
Sure, more motivated.
I think less education is better.
Okay.
Sometimes.
We have a teacher here, what?
You're retired. You're retired now, stop it.
So what about additional training for supervising brokers? Should there be, so you get your broker license and there are people apparently that the next day could take the supervising broker course and go from broker to supervising broker within a 24-hour period or within a few weeks of each other. Should there be some stutter step between being a broker and being a supervising broker? Or do you guys feel that the way that that's set up is okay right now?
I think it's insane to think about
Yeah.
being a supervisor.
I think after you went through an agent just to be a broker, you're committed.
Okay.
And then I think before you ever took on somebody else, you would think long and hard.
Okay. So 8 hours is fine. You think?
Because they've already been, set a broker. So
Okay.
they've gone through sales and they've made enough sales to qualify to be a broker.
I don't know that I would have a thumbs up feeling to, have another set of criteria because
Okay, all right.
I think if they're got enough with them to step to the plate and choose to do that.
You're choosing to be a babysitter and
Yeah,
And take
exactly.
on a.
you gotta have the right
risk.
personality to do that,
Right,
really.
yeah. It seems like a huge commitment. So do you all feel there should be a limit on the number of agents that a supervising broker can supervise? No?
Definitely not.
Yep, I think 4.
You know that high?
Because I guess MAR fought for that